Robot Gundam style, everybody, and welcome to WoW Cool Robot.
Wow.
Cool Robot. So, this week we covered some episodes.
Oh, Jake. Oh, Jake.
These certainly were some episodes, huh?
Oh, Jake, I don't know about this one, Jake. I don't know about this one. Now, I will say, last week, as everyone knows, I had this strange manic energy about me because, I had to start packing up to move and everything. I got an apartment and all that. This week, the fatigue has set in. I played far too much Assassin's Creed. I haven't done enough packing yet. I've been getting so many packages of the furniture that I'm going to put in my new place. And to top it all off, Jake, these episodes just kind of wrenched the spirit out of my mortal body.
Yeah, they were, you know how last week we were saying, like, oh, these might be the best episodes yet?
Yeah, I do remember that fondly.
Yeah, so, what if we did a fun little trick and did the opposite of that?
What if we get, like, a cool space tribalism and you love to see it? Ugh. Okay. It's Double Zeta Gundam. I forget what show I'm watching. I'm very tired. Jake, can you please kick us off with the summary of the only good episode we watched this week?
Episode 13. Little Sister. The Argonaut is finally able to resupply at La Vie en Rose, and they plan to fully overhaul it. Bright wants the Shangri-La kids to keep an eye on Judo so he doesn't try to escape and chase after Lena. Judo escapes and chases after Lena. Elle accompanies him in the Mark II, and as they fly toward the Indra, they face off against Chara and Gotten, who are using a new spiderweb bomb weapon. Judo and Elle end up neutralizing the weapon and force Chara and Goten to retreat, but not before Glimmy can once again retreat with Lena.
This one was fine.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was fine. It was a Gundam episode,
It was good. It was alright.
It was an episode that happens in the middle of a series when you don't have an arc going on, but you still have to pad it out, and it's not quite filler because it's still, it's fun and fine to look at.
Yeah, exactly.
This one, so we're at La Vie en Rose finally. It only took us 13 episodes to get here, my god. And the Argama is finally getting its just completely torn apart ass fixed. Thank goodness.
But we find out that the La Vie en Rose is kind of short-staffed on workers.
Everybody's short-staffed here. The Argama is short-staffed. La Vie en Rose is short-staffed. The Endra's probably short-staffed. It's almost as if we're in the middle of a war or something. Who could possibly say?
What? That's no.
We see Asinage and Emery is her name. They're talking because, Emery's like, oh, La Vie en Rose doesn't have enough people. And Asinage is like, oh, the Argama doesn't have enough people either. But they still want to go ahead and overhaul it, is the term they use a lot. It's Commander Bright's orders to overhaul the Argama. I don't know what that means, but I guess they're going to make it all nice and spiffy.
And then we cut to the mess hall where Bright has assembled all of the junkyard kids except for Judo.
He's not allowed here.
Nope. And there's a very funny thing where Beach is eating a very sloppy-looking hot dog and splashes Bright with ketchup. You love to see it.
This dude puts an irresponsible amount of ketchup on that hot dog.
Yeah, like, my dude,
that's a wet dog.
Would you like some hot dog with your ketchup?
Yeah, get his ass. I'm more of a Dijon mustard on a hot dog kind of guy. Not yellow mustard. Don't you dare come to me with that yellow mustard bullshit. It's Dijon or nothing.
Dijon's alright. I am with him on the ketchup, just not on the amount.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Dijon mustard or ketchup, not both at the same time. If it's a bratwurst, I'm putting horseradish on that bad boy.
Ooh,
it really depends on what the meat of the dog is. But this just looks like a regular, what's the word? Nathan's? That's the big hot dog. They're the one that everyone eats. Nathan's hot dogs exists in space now. It's lore. Look it up.
I actually don't recognize that name, so I will have to look it up.
I swear to God, Nathan's is the one that does the hot dog eating contest. Nathan's hot dogs. Yeah, Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs and Restaurants. They do they do like the big old Coney Island hot dog eating contest every year on Coney Island. My brother actually was almost in that contest. He was in like the regional for where he lives, and he didn't win because he's not a professional, but like for like about a year he was for some reason really into competitive eating contests.
That would be, I could see that being kind of fun.
I could see it being kind of fun, but also my tummy yells at me when I even think about it. And I said, no, maybe not today. One day.
Yeah, like I'm a big dude, but even I think my tummy would yell like, "Hey, you've had 4 hot dogs now, and that's stretching it, buddy."
Why not have 24?
Yeah, there we go.
God. But yeah, he's talking to all of the junkyard kids, and he's like, yeah, can you please keep an eye on Judo, because this kid is off the handle. He's going to go leave and rescue his sister Lena, and we can't have that happening because he will endanger himself. And of course, the whole time, the kids are like goofing off, not listening to him, making us of their food, and then one of the... Look, despite all the badness of these episodes this week, we get very funny lines, because Bright says to these, like, 13 to 15-year-old kids, could you all please show a little more naval decorum? Who do you think you are, Bright?
I forgot that line. Oh, shit.
They're just kids. They're not sworn into the military, dog.
Could you show some more naval decorum?
Could you please follow... Please respect the Antarctic Treaty, you 13-year-old girl. Ah! God. This guy sucks.
And then we see Judo headed to the hangar, and Rue's like, "Hey, motherfucker, where are you going?"
He's like, gotta go bathroom.
He's like, "I'm just going to go help with the maintenance on the Double Zeta."
Yeah, that's all. And as he does this, Koum is here, and she offers him some of her stew that she made. And I really love how, like, this is plot important stew. This comes up several times in this episode.
And now, like, I want to try some of her soup, because she's so excited to share her soup with Judo.
I really want to know. We never see what it is. I really want to know what that kind of stew is.
And he's immediately like, nah, I'm going to go to the bathroom actually now, bye.
Yeah, I lied. I'm not going to work on Double Zeta. I just got to poop. And he does. And, like, Elle and Rue are there trying to reason with him. And, like, he storms into the bathroom, and Elle wants to follow him. And, like, Rue comments, that temper comes from a calcium deficiency. What, does Judo need his Flintstones gummy vitamins?
That line cracked me up, because I was just like, I've never heard this nutrition fact, but thank you, Rue, for educating us.
Everyone knows. Jake, everyone knows when your bones are weak, you don't have enough calcium in them, you get cranky and angry all the time, and it makes you go to the bathroom a lot, I guess. I
grumpy because I don't have my milk.
I didn't drink my chalky milk, I'm not epic. God.
So, Elle goes into the bathroom to check on Judo, and she sees that he has actually changed into a normal soup, and he's carrying a large pipe.
A large pipe that he broke off of the toilet, that he's going to presumably use to, like, stealth take down anyone who's in his way as he hijacks the Double Zeta and rescues his sister. Good plan, my guy. You're 15.
And then, Bright shows up, and he has to go to the bathroom.
But not a joke. He actually does. He drank way too much coffee.
And so he decides to hide. He takes off his normal suit and puts it inside one of the stalls like it's sitting there.
I love that. That's so funny to me.
That when Bright looks down, he sees a pair of feet like just in the stall.
Yeah, of course. Someone is pooping in their normal suit, which, as we all know, from an earlier episode when Rue was telling Judo it's hard to take it off to go to the bathroom, Bright should have questioned it. I'm poking holes in the delicate spiderweb thread of this episode. I have to find pleasure somehow, because after this episode is gonna go tits up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and after Bright, leaves, he's like, "Oh, good job, kids." Judo, like, actually, like, almost has a moment, like, he kind of, like, breaks down a little bit, and he's just, like, holding the vacuum, and he's just, like, kind of, like, clutching it, like, squatting. He's just, like, really, really mad at himself that, he let Lena get in the hands of the enemy. And Elle is, like, really sympathetic and is like, "Wow, I really wish I had someone who, I wish I had an older sibling who cared about me so much." And it's like, yeah, I love that. I love this nice character moment.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Then we cut over to the hangar.
Yes, Bicha and Mondo are trying to train with the Double Zeta Score fighters. They're like taking them apart and putting them back together.
Certainly not because they plan to steal it. They're just practicing, you see.
Yeah. They're certainly just... They just want to become more useful to the crew.
Exactly. That's all. And, like, the whole time Astronaut's just like, "What are you fucking kids doing?" And they explain it, and I guess he's dumb enough to believe them. And when they, like, fully transform it, Beachy goes, "Hello there, Mr. Double." It's like, "Please, Mr. Double is my father. Call me Zeta." And now Judo rolls up here, and he's like, "Oh wow, how nice! Double Zeta's already formed for me. I guess I'll go steal it." Because like, there's this cart by L that like the normal suit's hidden under, and he grabs it and like dashes to it. And of course, Astonage like stops him and like tackles him like in zero gravity. It rules. Get his ass.
And he's trying to keep him out of the cockpit. And then we cut to the Indra, and
it's fucking Cotillion here.
And Glimmy is trying to teach Lena how to eat like a fancy person.
How to be a proper lady. It's like Pride and Prejudice up in this Gundam show now.
She's got a nice fluffy dress, and they're having a fancy dinner.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't like to be there, though. I mean, obviously, she's trying to take every opportunity to leave. This scene is fun with like the biggest fucking asterisk in the world, right? Because, you know, I like that Glemmy is nice. You know, he's not a good guy, but I like that he's, you know, inexplicably teaching her cotillion. I don't know why he would, but it's funny to me. But then, like, Lena's like, okay, if you don't let me go to the bathroom, I'm gonna go right here. And, like, she squats down, and, like, Glemmy, like, looks under the table, and we just get an upskirt shot. And
Yeah!
Lena is 13 years old.
I thought she was 10.
Oh, shit, is she... No, I forgot. Is she 10? Oh, no, I'm looking it up, I'm afraid... She's 10! I hate... What happened? Jake, what happened to Gundam?
I don't know.
I thought Gundam was fun!
I just didn't even write it in my notes because I didn't want to.
I'm in hell! I'm in hell! I hate this show. Whatever, it sucks. Moving on. What happens next?
He teaches her etiquette for how to leave the table.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut to Shara talking to Gotten in the hangar.
Yes, now this is the good shit.
And she's like, you see that dummy asteroid over there? That's going to be our key to defeating the Argama. We're going to use it for a sneak attack.
And, you know, Gotten is like still fully, subordinate to her, under her control, doing whatever the hell she wants. And like the thread between all three of these, this episode is like every time he like sort of dissents from her, she's like, "Do you want to get demoted, asshole? Do you want me to step on you, little man?" And you know he loves it, but he doesn't want it to happen. And yeah, she's with her she's with her Arjarja. She can't, and oh wow, I'm like all scrambled. Gotten asks her, is like, well, can you send Glemmy out instead? And she says no, because Haman likes Glemmy too much. And now I'm really like, what's Glemmy's deal? He seems, every single time we see him, I feel like he seems more important than I first thought when I saw the boy. You know?
Yeah, like she straight up says he's one of Lady Haman's favorites. And
don't let Mashmer know.
I was about to say, I wonder what Mashmer would think hearing that, because that would be interesting.
I think when she said that, Mashmer, who's like probably like adrift, like he's probably like Mashmer's at McDaniel in Granada on the moon, and like he just got like his ears perked up, and he got like his own like simp new type flash. He's like, huh? What? Is someone speaking of Lady Haman? God.
And then Gotten's like, oh, but you can put me in danger? And she goes, you're not as important.
Yeah, you suck, dude. It's simply a way for me to dom you. And he's like, okay, great, I love it. And she's trying to get in her Arjarja, and like her body is preventing her from doing it. Like I guess her arms instinctively like splay out and like hold the sort of like hatch as she's trying to force her way in. And like look, this is the horniest character I've ever seen in any anime in my life, Jake.
Oh my god, she is something else.
She gets in the cockpit, and you know, the first syllable of that word is important, because she does grab the like the flight control sticks and does a little funny stroke on them as if it were a Bingus.
Yeah,
Char soon rules. She's so like, it's the point where like, you know, my mind is normal and healthy. I don't like weirdly horny characters in shows, but Shara is, I feel like, on such a different level that I like it, and it's funny to me because it's like Bayonetta. It's so aggressively horny to the point where it wraps around and doesn't really do anything. It's just like, oh, she's just being silly. She's just having a normal one.
Yeah, it's comedically horny, which is
exactly
a thing I never thought I'd say before. But yeah, comedically horny.
Love it. Wow. Let's see. And like as she walks out in the Arjarja, she like bonks the robot's head on like a control arm and just like backhands it out of the way. It rules.
And Gotten's like, hey, can you not?
Please, ma'am, this is a ship. People live here. We have to work here.
And so we cut back to Lena and Glimmy. She walks out of the bathroom and then just starts going the opposite direction of where he's waiting. And I don't know why, but that's funny. Like, she takes just kind of a look over at him, and she doesn't even run away. She just, like, starts walking the other direction.
Yeah! He's like,
nope.
Little girl, where are you going? And she's like, I'm escaping, duh.
I'm going back to my brother.
I'm making my great escape, and you can't stop me. And he's like, damn, I guess I can't stop her. It's just funny. Let's see. Oh, yeah, yet again, my wife is... We see Chara soon outside, and she hasn't mobilized with Gotten yet because she is too busy, like... can only be described as dry humping the air in her mobile suit.
She's like shaking the ship a little bit even because she's so close to it when she's doing this.
I love her so much. She is a delight to see.
She says something like she's getting herself amped up for the fight, and I'm like, is that all? Is that all you're getting yourself amped up for, Chara?
I feel like, you know, one of the running themes in Zeta Gundam when we watched it is that certain characters needed to go to therapy. I think Chara Soon is high up on that list as of now. I don't know what kind of therapy she needs, but this kind of behavior I feel like is not very not setting a good example for the nice people of Axis. Also, yeah. I did notice, speaking of the way characters' names are pronounced, it's not a segue, but they say Kara.
Oh, do they?
So, yeah, I don't know. I get, like, it would have been, again, if you look at judo, phonetically it's judo, but they say judo, and you look at Kara, or Kara, they would say Kara. I'm just gonna look at the name, it doesn't really say, I don't, I just paid attention to how they said her name, and it's apparently Kara Soon, but I'm still gonna say Chara Soon, because that's just a fun name to me.
That makes more sense to me.
Tuck it in the back of your mind, it's like the Undertale guy, I love to see it. Hoof. And now we cut over to a little boy Judo in jail.
Yeah, they locked him up in the lunchroom, and they said, stay here, eat lunch, just don't do anything else.
And he listens, and the episode ends.
Yep, and roll credits. No, he sees an air vent in the ceiling, and hops up there and crawls out of it.
And as this, and like I think he crawls over to like the little break room area, or maybe he crawls from the break room to the mess hall. And then, like, at this point, I don't know, maybe I just, like, stopped paying attention for half a second, but, like, either he signals to L, or L and the orphans hatch a plan to break him out by burning the rest of Shinta's, or of Kum's stew, and, like, basically light a fire and smoke billows out of the room.
Yeah, so, L and Ino come up with that plan on their own.
Okay,
like,
all right.
Completely separate to him. Mm-hmm. And so, as he's trying to climb through the vents, they start a fire and smoke everything up. And, like, he crawls back out of the vents. He's like, what the hell is that smoke? We are fucking under attack. There's a fire here.
And, of course, it's like Miss Anna, I think, is the character. He's like some Argama crew member's name is there guarding the door, and they open it. And then, you know, he'd already escaped in a different room by then, and he's gone. And, like, it's a whole struggle. Judo's, like, running towards the ship. We do see the orphans tie up Astonage at some point. I think they tie Astonage and Anna together. It's just like, okay, that's cute.
Yeah, so that happens when they get to the hangar. Mm-hmm. Astonage jumps after Judo again, and then the twins like just sneak up on him with a rope and like tie him all up.
I don't love it that the orphans are complicit in these harebrained schemes, but I do like to see them tie a grown man up and just like overpower adults.
Yeah,
it's just funny to me.
And then Elle says the line that made me so hype.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "I'll get in the Mark II."
Mark II's back, and I think earlier in the episode when we get the first hangar shot, I think we do see the Mark II there. I guess they had like an extra Mark II hanging out at La Viance. But I love that Mark II. We love the Mark II. Mark II is such a fucking good robot. I've been trying to find a real grade Mark II.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Gunpla break. As of now, like, I have all of the really big Zeta suits. I got the Zeta, got the Hyakshiki, got the Theo, I got Boundock now, I have a Cublate incoming. So if I can get the Mark II, that's like the 6 most important suits from Zeta, aside from Psycho, which is an unattainable goal.
I have, for my Gunpla break, I've got the Version Ka double Zeta master grade coming in the mail today. I got that, and it's going to be coming today. I got a notification on my phone a couple hours ago saying that it shipped out from the UPS facility.
Yes.
So if you hear my dog start barking and me start squealing like a young child during the recording today, that's because it arrived.
Your sign of Double Zeta has arrived. We love it.
Yes.
God, I love the Double Zeta. Just big boy alert. So they're gunpla break over. Back to the episode. Is a big struggle. Elle gets in the Mark II and she does not know how to pilot this thing at all. Like, she's reading the manual as she's on the controls. It's just that's a bit that I think never gets old, because I just love that Gundams have just a normal ass owner's manual on how to do it.
Yeah, and apparently everybody just keeps it in their cockpit.
Yeah. Well, it's like a glove box. Your car's manual's in the glove box in case you forget how to drive and you have to read it on the highway.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Don't listen to me.
So I pushed the brake pedal and the what's going
on? And Rue's trying to stop Judo, and Elle's bumbling around the Mark II and bonks into the Double Zeta and breaks up the fight, and they're able to fly out and escape. And Rue, as they do this, Rue is either concerned or jealous or something that Elle has already figured out how to pilot the Mark II so quickly. I don't know. I have an eye on that. I have a tab open thinking about that. I want to know what that deal is, because I feel like Rue, we know Rue is more competent than she lets on, because it's just her affectation of being kind of a ditz in some cases, but she's also just overall very competent. But I feel like her noting that Elle is so good, I feel like that could be maybe who knows, maybe Elle's a new type. I don't know anymore. I never know. These kids are going to be the death of me one day. But I'm simply looking at it, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's like Judo said in that episode preview, all kids are new types.
I forgot about that, Jake, and I thank you for reminding me, because you're right. All kids are new types. We know this. It's canon. It's law. It is written.
But yeah, they get outside the ship, and then she's able to start flying right away. So Judo's pretty impressed by that. He follows after her, and we see that Bicha and Mondo have snuck aboard one of his core fighters.
I'm tired of these dudes.
And they're like, Mondo's like, what are we going to do? And Bicha's like, we'll figure that out whenever we get in contact with the enemy.
Whatever, guys. Little assholes.
Shitheads.
They're flying out. They're flying towards, I guess, where they know... I guess they know where the Endra is, because they're flying towards it. And as they do, they see Chara and Gotten coming in. And of course, Gotten is in a Gaza C or D, I forget which, towing this weird asteroid. And he's having trouble because Char assumes our Jar Jar is also towed behind it, and she's just not doing any work. I love that.
Yeah, she's just hanging there.
She's just vibing.
Yeah.
And when she, I think you sent me a screenshot of this. When she sees the Double Zeta, she's like, the actual Double Zeta, yeah,
yeah.
It's that's what I say whenever I see the actual Double Zeta, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, and then she decides that now is the time to use our cool new asteroid weapon, not on the Argama, but we're going to capture this damn robot, or we're going to die trying. And
so she tells Gotten to detonate the dummy asteroid, and she calls it a spider web bomb. What's that?
It's what it sounds like. It's a spider web. It's a net of bombs that is shaped like a spider's web. And I guess it looks like they blow up many times, because I feel like it was destroyed 3 times in this episode.
The way that I interpreted that is that it set off small chain reactions but didn't blow up all the bombs.
Okay, all right. It's a cool looking thing though. It's I can understand how that would destroy the Argama. If it flies right into it, you're going to get bombs literally all over the Argama. So yeah, I get it. Let's see. So yeah, Elle immediately fires the Mark II as she's, continuing to read the owner's manual, and it blows up a couple of the nodes on the web. And, I did write down during this fight, I did write down another great quote from Gotten this time. He's like, I'm not scared of the Double Zeta. I'm afraid of being demoted.
Yep, that one's in my notes too.
I love it. It's just the thread of Gotten, the only reason he's doing this is so he doesn't get his shit pushed in by Char. He doesn't get demoted. He doesn't get bumped down a pay grade or 2. Poor guy.
As they're fighting, Judo says that he's fighting because he wants to save his little sister, and Gotten realizes, oh hey, that's the child that Glemmy brought back.
Damn, you mean that 10-year-old that the Glemmy kidnapped?
Yeah,
Small world.
So while Chara and Judo are fighting, Gotten radios back to the Indra that's Judo's sister, and is like, hey, we should use her as hostage.
Yeah. Because, Glemmy asks Gotten, like, yo, who's incoming? And all Gotten hears is L's voice when he radios the Mark II. And Glemmy's like, of course, it's a girl's voice. It must be my Lady Rue coming. Get Lena ready for a sacrifice or whatever the hell. Freak ass.
Yeah, he's like, no, we couldn't do something that underhanded as use a small child as a hostage. But then once he thinks Rue's there, he's like, oh yeah, no, actually it's cool.
We're gonna use this kid as a hostage right now. Let's go, motherfuckers.
So he puts her in a normal suit and says, enemies are attacking, get this on. And she gets super excited because that means that Judo has come to save her.
I mean, she's right.
Yeah.
She's right. And, there's still more fighting. We cut back and forth between this and the battle. Chara is, like, trying to push Judo into the web, but he, like, uses that, like, double beam cannon on his hand to, like, blow up, like, a whole portion of the web. It's, it's cool. I like big explosions. We love it.
The shockwave from that kind of knocks her back and makes her let go of him. And then he points the gun at her and he's like, I'll shoot you if you get in my way.
Yeah, so I think, from what I understood, I guess he knows that he's either aiming at Lena, who's like kind of like on this open hangar part, or like the ship itself. I feel like at this point he knows that like Lena's the bargaining chip here, so he like is standing between Lena. He's like, I'm gonna blow up her if you don't like stop causing a ruckus, young man. This is your discipline. And
they even like project her image into like with a big hologram maker into space, and are like, hey, we have her. Just remember.
Do not forget. Very important. And look, a stopped clock is, I guess, right twice a day, because Beecha and Mondo get the bright idea of, like, okay, this is getting a little too hot and heavy for us. Let us detach the Double Zeta. And they do, and they, like, turn it back into the G-Fortress. And I guess, the G-Fortress is the leg part of Double Zeta. So, like, the whole thing gets split apart now. And, like, that confuses Gotten. He's like, it's breaking apart. I don't know if he remembered it can do that or not, but, like, they do it, and in the struggle, they fly off, and, like, L is able to shoot Gotten into the web. And, like, at the very last minute, he gets into his escape pod and, like, bursts out of it. And, his gauze is destroyed, but Chara finally demotes him. We love it.
And then Glimmy drags Lena back into the ship.
Yeah, God, for, like, the fifth time by now, I guess.
And Beach's ship is stuck under the Indra's guns. Somehow it got wedged up in there.
Yeah, that's very funny to me that, like, that's how they're going to end up making contact, by, like, literally getting their ship shoved into the Indra and they can't leave. It's what they wanted, so, can't blame them.
Yeah, and back on the Argama, I can never remember her name, but the... Emery is saying that she's like, oh, those two must be new types. And Bright's like,
she's so excited that there's more new types that she can toy around with in battle. Like, Judo's really mad, and she's just so happy, and Bright's just like, Bright, look, Bright has no right to be mad about this, because Bright brought this on himself by being so into new types. Like, it's on him, basically. Yeah, it's his fault. Honestly. This is all happening. Asshole, man. That's episode, though. It's fine. Except for the parts where it wasn't.
Yeah.
And now for an episode that's even worse, I guess.
Yeah. They sure gave us some fun ones this week.
Yeah, Jake, let me tell you about Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta, episode 14. The Phantom Colony Part 1. The Argama loses itself in an asteroid field, but finds a derelict colony calling itself Moon. They're radioed by the Light Tribe inside the colony and are to join forces with them. Light Tribe soldiers invade the Argama, taking everyone hostage, as Judo's knocked out by some rebels. As it turns out, the Endra also has docked inside Moon, as the Light Tribe is trying to join forces with them as well. The aforementioned rebels kidnap Chara, trying to get her and Judo to team up in order to stop the Light Tribe from trying to find a messiah so Moon can stay hidden and peaceful. Gotten eventually mobilizes the Entra's forces in order to take Chara back, and a fight breaks out with Lena being tied to Gaza Dia's bargaining chip. Judo drives Axis off into Double Zeta, and after the battle he's hailed as the messiah. I didn't like this episode.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Moon, the 2 episodes of Moon seem a bit contentious in our Discord. Some people like it, some people don't. I did not have fun with this one.
Yeah, I didn't really either. But you know what? I've heard people say that this is like the low point of Double Zeta.
So if this is the worst,
if this is the worst, then like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like, I'm excited for it to bounce back up.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So how does this one start out, Jake?
So this one starts out with the La Vie en Rose is still repairing the Argama.
Mm-hmm.
Emery falls on Bright very suggestively.
He is married!
To report to him that they're short on food and material.
Why? When aren't they? It's the Argama, come on.
They bump into the door of the bridge, opens up, and everybody sees them laying on each other. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, come on, you two.
He's married!
I just love that reaction from the crew. He's like, what are you doing?
You're serving as a bad example for us impressionable young space teenagers. You're telling us that adultery is cool and fun, Mr. Bright. God, I need to cleanse these vibes I'm having. I hate this episode so much. So, okay. La Vie en Rose. First of all, I do think it's very cool that, like, La Vie en Rose is actually, like, in this case, being used as, like, a tug or, like, a tow or, like, an attachment to the Argama. Because, like, they're piloting the Argama, and La Vie en Rose is attached to it, working on it. And, like, it's almost like La Vie en Rose is a trailer for the Argama. Like, they can just move it around wherever they want to, which is really neat to me.
It's very cool.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they've moved it into an impenetrable asteroid field they have no hopes of navigating. Uh-oh.
Yeah, whoops. We made a whoopsies.
Ah, beans.
Then they see a weird asteroid out in the asteroid field. And Elle tells Eno to analyze it, and it's like this big weird rock with like junk sticking out of it. And like I thought we were gone from all the junk, but I guess not.
Yeah, they say it's a dummy, but it's really, really dense. It's very weird. And then Emery pipes up, and she's like, yeah, this is the place where they built the very first Sweetwater-type colony.
And it's just been ignored and abandoned by everybody for years. A totally normal thing for something that's only been around like for 100 years.
Yeah, I guess the whole thing is that space is gigantic. It's called space, right? But like, you'd think that they would remember where they built the first one, you know?
Yeah, and keep in mind for the rest of this episode with this colony of people that people have only been living in space for about 100 years.
Yeah, so I don't remember how long. This is Universal Century, what, like 87 or 8, I think?
I think so.
Yeah, like, I think it was like when a certain number of people were living in space when Universal Century began. But yeah, like, they haven't been at this for that long, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And they're staring at it, and like, they get a radio transmission saying that we are the light tribe of Moon. And at this point, I just like, kind of like, just tensed up, and I was like, "Oh God, no! Please, no! Oh, God, no!
I've heard that name. I've heard legends.
Don't say tribe in Gundam. I don't need tribal politics. I don't need, the modern world's interpretation of a tribal society in Gundam. Please, God, no! Spare me from this." And as this radio broadcast goes through, the junk asteroid sort of floats out of the way, and they see kind of a colony. It's like a little tube, and there's the docks on either end of the tube, but it's like a lot shorter than an actual colony is. It looks like, some sort of prototypical space colony, but it very much is a functioning space colony. And guess we're at Moon now.
And Bright's like, maybe they can resupply us, so let's go ahead and we'll land on there. And I don't know, it sounds like a cult, but we'll land on there and see if they can resupply us.
Yeah, like they want to join forces, which is great. And they're floating there, and like they say that only the white ship can enter. They have to leave La Vie en Rose behind, and they do that, which is no trouble at all. They just detach, and they go into the colony, and it's like a really, really tight fit because it doesn't it's small. I feel like it's not really built for that kind of battleship to enter.
Yeah,
and as this is happening, Judo and Elle are like going into the suits because they're like, well, we don't know where the hell we're going. We're gonna get in here because we might gotta fight these people. Which is again just I love when a civilized society goes to tribal society and says, we should get ready to attack them because they're probably going to attack us. Ah!
Yeah.
I'm just making taxidermied fox face.
So after they land, they are greeted by these dudes in robes with tridents. They keep calling them spears, but they're definitely tridents.
They're tridents. They have 3 dents on them.
And somehow the ship gets invaded by them. You would think they would just like close the doors, but whatever. The ship gets invaded by these guys.
Yeah, and they all look like. First of all, they remind me of, well, rather, Schwarzbruder from G Gundam reminds me of them. similar sort of like mask looking thing.
Okay,
they remind me a little bit of like the Foot Clan from TMNT. It's like these like weird like black and yellow armor that they're wearing. It like looks like kind of like a hockey mask. It's strange. And they invade and they like have their tridents poked at everybody. And just come on, good impression. They're holding everyone's hostage and like they see the mobile suits in the hangar. And they're like, the giants, we have to destroy the giants. It's like that they don't have a word for the mobile suits, and I'm just SMDH. I'm shaking my damn head.
And Judo is like, they'll blow up the port if they do that. So Elk decides like, hey, let's just take it apart. We'll take it apart for them. And Judo's like, what? And then he realizes like, oh yeah, let's just undock it and make it look like we're taking it to pieces.
I will say, this part is really funny. I do love this part quite a bit. Because, the Double Zeta is made of 3 things. It's made of some core fighters and other bits. So they take it apart, and they act as if they're, like, dismantling it, because otherwise they're going to bomb it. And it's just, like, everyone is, like, catching on to this plan. Like we see, Elle and Judo crying about it. And, like, Bright and Rue walk in. And Emery walks in, and they're like, why are you crying? And, like, they catch on. Bright's like, oh, what a shame that we had to take apart our giant. And, like, Rue, Bright does, like, telephone to Rue and tells her, and then Rue does telephone to Emery and tells her. And it's just, like, it's a cute moment when they're all, like, pretending that they, like, dismantled and, like, decommissioned this robot of theirs. It's cute.
And after Judo takes it apart, and he starts to, like, come down to the hangar, he gets jumped and beaten up by 2 mysterious guys who aren't dressed up like everybody else.
Straight up gut punched.
Yeah, man.
He gets KO'd.
So Bright walks up to this guy who I'm guessing is their leader because he doesn't have a mask like everybody else, and he's got a sword instead of a trident.
Yeah, I don't think we ever get this fool's name. It doesn't matter, but he's this is also the only time we ever see this guy, I think.
Yeah.
He's like standing in the background later on. But yeah, he's just a guy.
Well, I mean, at this point, I assumed he was their leader. My bad.
Yeah.
He's like, we've taken apart our giant for you, and we would like for you to hear our requests.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, no, you just need to come talk to our prophet.
Great. Love that this tribal jungle society has a prophet, too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love to see it. We go inside Moon, and I will say Moon's very pretty. It's a colony. It's not as long, like I said, it's not as long as other colonies are, but like it's very like overgrown, very jungle foresty. For some reason, there's just like a straight up Mesoamerican pyramid. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Did they like build it there after the fact when they decided to become Anprim? Or was like when humanity first built a Sweetwater type colony, they're like, yeah, wouldn't it be sick if we put like a Tenochtitlan in here? And they said, yeah, dude, that would rule. Either way, I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, as is a lot of stuff about this episode.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So the guy is leading them into the colony, and we cut to the temple to see that Chara, Gotten, Bicha, and Mondo are all already there, and talking to some old guy with long white hair.
This guy is named Roll. He is like the village elder, kind of. He's not like the leader of the light tribe of Moon, but he's like, he's the old person in charge, I guess. And he's talking to them. He's saying that they all have to swear to the Coddle, which is this big, suspiciously mobile something-shaped mound of moss and trees behind the temple. Who could say what it is? And they have to swear to it, and, they're kind of like playing into the light tribe. The Axis people are, because, I think like Bicha whispers to Gotten's like, what the fuck are we doing here? And Gotten's like, we're only killing time until Glenny can get here with a new ship.
And so Chara wants to go walk around, but Gotten thinks it's a bad idea. So he orders the shitheads to go with her.
Yeah, God.
And while they're out walking around town, they see Judo in the back of a cart. And they jump to hide because they don't want him to see them.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be seen either if I was being a traitor. And, like, I gotta give it credit to Chara because, like, we do see Chara, and she's wearing, like, a Moon kind of outfit. Like, it's almost like a romper, and her hair is tied in, like, a half ponytail. Chara looks good in these episodes. I love Chara so much.
It's a good look.
She rules. And, they see Judo. They're, like, spying on Judo. And, like, I think Judo spies Chara. And then, like, the rebels who have taken Judo hostage also take Chara hostage. They, like, jump on her with a sheet and, like, grab her and pull her into the cart. And it's like, what the hell is going on here?
And then, let me see. Now we get to, Bicha and Mondo see that. Mm-hmm. And Bicha tells Mondo to stay there, and he runs to go tell Gotten.
Yeah, he fucks off. And, like, I think we cut over then. And, like, Mondo sort of gives chase and is, like, spying on them, too.
Yeah.
We cut over. We see Bright, who's talking to Roll now. And, Roll wants them to swear loyalty to the Coddle. And, like, if you swear loyalty to us, we'll help the Argon. We'll help you resupply. And Bright is like, can we pay you? And Roll's like, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, we will kill you if you try to pay us. They get so mad when he offers.
We need a ship to spread the teachings of the Light Tribe across the cosmos. Great. So now, the tribal culture, they're missionaries.
And then one of the temple, I don't know, like one of the guys that you pretty much only see at the temple, comes in. He reports that, maybe. He reports that Chara has been taken by the rebels. Mm-hmm. And Bright gets pissed because he's like, you invited our enemies in here as well?
Yeah, and basically they say, well, we're playing both sides, so we always come out on top either way.
Yeah, and we hear a voice from behind the curtains say, if we knew which ship carried our Messiah, we wouldn't have had to resort to this.
Yeah. And I think at this point we can assume that Lady Sarasa is behind the curtain. Like, we've heard her name before. We've heard that Lady Sarasa is the prophet. We haven't seen her yet. But yeah, that's the voice behind the curtain is presumably her, and she's saying, yeah, we have to play both sides until we find a Messiah. We love it. So now we cut back over, and Monda is still spying in, like, Judo and Chara and Risara now. So this is the confusing part, which got me for a little while, and it's also part of the episode. There's Sarasa, who's the prophet, but this girl's Risara. Why is her name so similar? Who could possibly say? But they're talking in, like, sort of an abandoned building. They're like, okay, we're rebels, because if the Light Tribe, is able to go into space, Moon's gonna, like, lose their peace. They're gonna get embroiled in the war. We have to stop them somehow. Which, I guess, whatever. Sure. I believe it. Yeah,
so Bicha has convinced Gotten that the Argama is the kidnappers. And then he laughs, but Gotten gets mad about it. So I was confused by this. Like, Bicha, are you just trying to piss off everybody?
Yeah, okay, this got me too. Literally all this is Bicha's fault.
Yeah, and he tells him that it's the Argama, and then, like, while he's mad about it, he, like, behind his back starts laughing. And I'm like, bro,
this isn't funny. I mean, at least he's like realizes that, like, oh shit, because Gotten's like, okay, tie the 10-year-old girl to a Gaza D as a bargaining chip and mobilize mobile suits, and Bicha's like, uh-oh, sisters. Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, Bicha is like you can see on his face, like, oh, that's not what I meant.
I don't know if we wanted to go that far. Uh-oh.
And he's like, if you can't do that, then you can just give up any hope of being a soldier for us.
Yeah, he's like dangled. That's the carrot that's being dangled in front of Bicha right now. That, like, if you want to work with us, you have to basically, like, operate on our level. And, Gotten ends up getting Lena tied to a Gaza as a bargaining chip, and Beach is like, okay, he, like, sees, the Gaza being mobilized, and he's like, fucking hell. So he spies Chara Soonzar Jarja in the hangar, and he's like, well, I'm gonna do something to stop this. We don't see him getting it yet, but you can assume he's gonna get in that big robot. And
as the Gaza is walking out, Lena screams for Judo, and in new type flash, he feels it.
Another of the very few redeemable things from this episode.
Nobody else heard it. He says that he heard her voice and looks out the window. And Mondo, who is, like, spying in through the window, like, kind of does the thing where, like, he lowers his arms and kind of hides up against the building.
Yeah, it's like he has to do, like, a little sneak, like, like it's in Assassin's Creed. If you're hanging just under the ledge, no one can actually see you.
Yeah, you're invisible.
Yeah, So, let's see. Yeah, Bicha gets in the Arjarja, Mondo's still spying. And, like, Lena's still being, like, flown around at this point. The exposition that we get from Mondo spying on them is, like, more of the same, whatever. And, like, Chara doesn't really care that... Like, she doesn't seem to care that Lena's being flown around. She doesn't seem to care that Judo's sister is at stake here. But she still kind of agrees to cooperate because, like... the whole episode's everyone's telling Chara how pretty she is, and so am I. But she's like, oh, like, I'll show you how pretty I am, not only on the outside, but on the inside by saving your sister. And it's like, okay, yeah, hell yeah, you get it, girl.
And, whatever works.
Whatever works.
So Beach is in the Arjarja now. He doesn't know how to fly it. But
no.
His plan is to rescue Chara before Lena gets hurt, and so that everybody will acknowledge him.
Yeah, as a soldier. I mean...
And then he immediately crashes it.
He completely beefs it. It rules.
So...
They do, before we cut over, we do see, like, they all run out, but, like, Mondo's still hanging on the window, and Rosara goes to the window and is like, hello, Mondo, you little asshole. I see you there. You want to help me out?
He's like...
He kind of gets caught up in this, too.
He got horny brain.
He got horny brain. He's like, girl?
Humana.
He makes that ooga foghorn noise with his eyes. It's great. We go over to the temple. Gotten is now like holding everyone here at gunpoint. Everyone is like freaking the hell out. Like it's at this point my notes just devolve because it's just this big scramble of like mobile suits running everywhere. Everyone's afraid of the mobile suits. At one point, Chara is like running and she sees a Gaza and she like hucks a spear at it. And, like, it scratches its ass because it hits it right on, like, the back skirt. It scratches its ass and, like, it sees Chara and it, like, gets out. And Chara's like, go back to the ship now. And she gets in it. And, like, everyone's really afraid of her. It rules.
The scratching the butt was very funny to me.
It was silly. It was a cute, silly moment.
And then, as she's getting into the Gaza, Judo yells up to remind her of Lena. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that you made a promise.
She says, haha, I will.
Yeah. And, over the radio, she yells at the Gaza D to stop and demands that they return Lena. Mm-hmm. Gotten is like, starts to ask why, but she gets interrupted from answering by spotting Rue flying overhead.
Yeah, because at this point, Rue and Ellen, have mobilized the Double Zeta parts. And of course, she's like, it's like when Char sees Gundam, she's like, Double Zeta gotta beat his ass.
She just gets so excited about fighting. And, Judo is like, no, if they start fighting, then I'll never get Lena back. And so he's like, I need something to get their attention. And the guy that's driving the cart that they're in just so happens to have this big-ass smoke bomb with him.
Yeah, kinda. I couldn't tell you what happens in the rest of this episode. It's so confusing. It's just everything happens so much.
I wrote pretty much everything down, but he throws it and gets Rue's attention. Mm-hmm. But then Bicha lands in front of her in the Arjarja, or lands in front of Chara in the Arjarja.
Yeah, Chara loves that. She's able to get in her chute again because, she knows that she gets to fight Double Zeta as soon as she gets in that thing. And of course, Judo's able to end up forming Double Zeta. And, Chara is fully forgotten about saving Lena. She just wants to fight the Double Zeta. And this is like a tiny, cramped colony. This is not a good place to fight.
Oh, no, not at all. Judo tries to chase after the Gazas because Gotten has ordered them to retreat, but Chara gets in his way, and they kind of wrestle a little bit.
They got a bit of a tussle,
and then he takes out his big ass beam saber and stabs her in the back.
Yeah, and he stabs her, and he's like, hey, you got to, hey, you got to leave, go, it's gonna go blow up, it's going to blow up, and she's not literally listening, but then he goes at Chara soon and Skypes her and says, you gotta leave. And she's like, okay, gotta leave, bye.
Yeah, she got a new type flash for Judo.
And it's the fact that now he can start to send messages. He can DM people now. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, and so the people of the temple declare Judo the Messiah since he won the fight.
Die.
They capture Chara and bring her to the Prophet, calling her the woman who nearly destroyed our temple.
True. And she kind of asks for forgiveness from Judo, and he's like, it doesn't matter anymore. And everyone loves it and claps. They're like, wow, such behavior is truly befitting the Messiah.
He says, I'm no Messiah, I'm just Judo.
I'm simply baby. And he walks up to the top of the temple and tears down the curtain to see who's talking to him. And we see the Prophet, who looks almost identical to Rosara. But the Prophet says she's Sarasa, so what's the deal?
She's the leader of the Light Tribe and the Prophet, and then episode ends.
What could it possibly mean? I guess we can just jump right into the last one, because it's the second part.
Yeah. Episode 15, The Phantom Colony, Part 2. Sarasa is telling Judo to spread the Light Tribe's teachings to the cosmos. He thinks she's Rosara and slaps her to snap her out of it, setting off a major conflict where Bright, Rue, Emery, and Chara are captured as Judo, L, and Ino escape. The latter group are saved by Rosara and Mondo, who take them underground to rescue the others. They head out to recapture the Double Zeta and activate the Coddle, showing Sarasa the error of her ways. As this happens, Glimmy heads toward the colony in his new suit, the Bawoo.
Bawoo, what's this?
A major fight breaks out in the colony as Mondo uses the Coddle to defeat Agaza, and Judo fights Glimmy and the Double Zeta until he once again escapes with Lena. As it turns out, the tribe elder, Roll, orchestrated Moon Moon's teachings so he could leave the colony and not be forgotten. The gang finally leave Moon Moon to hunt down Glimmy and Lena once more.
Thank God this arc only lasted 2 episodes.
Oh my god, if it was like a 3-parter
Merciful
or something, I would have screamed.
Oh God, if I had to if we had to talk about Moon Moon on 2 episodes of Double Zeta, I would have not had a good time, I tell you what. But we only get 1, thank goodness. Yeah, this one starts out, Sarasa telling Judo he needs to spread the Light Tribe's teaching throughout the cosmos, and like, Shara is like, isn't this the girl we just talked to? And Judo's like, I think it's the girl we just talked to. And he like, they think she's the same person in different places, and he like tries to slap her and snap her out of it because he thinks that like she's confused. And then she's like, you slapped me, you're not the Messiah. Get his ass, temple guards.
Yeah, and so she orders that everybody gets locked up in the dungeon because of this.
1,000 years dungeon!
And so everybody tries to escape.
Of course.
As they're running down the steps of the temple, my favorite part in all 3 of these episodes happens. Emery trips, and then Bright stops for her, and the kids keep running. And he just yells out, "Don't wait for us!" And then he looks up and he goes, "Oh, they didn't.
They already left." Which is good because, and first of all, as Emery's running down, I don't remember if it was Judo, but one of them says, your skirt's too tight, you're gonna trip, and she trips, and then like, Bright lands on her, and then like this, at this point when they're like tangled up together, Bright's like, by the way, I'm married. You could have said that earlier, my guy. You deserve for them to all leave you. God. Moon Moon sucks. Bright sucks. I don't know about Double Zeta so far.
So the kids find a nice tree to wait by, and Judo wonders why he didn't just hop in the Double Zeta while they were there.
Me too.
Elle says something about like the spears still would have killed you or something.
Yeah, they all have like everything. There's like a billion temple guards around, just like chucking spears at everyone. It's dangerous. It's fine. And like as they have this conversation, it kind of turns to talk of like love and marriage for a little while, which is kind of an interesting, like, I don't know, that's a cool thing I didn't really expect to see from these kids,
Yeah, says something about like, oh, you fall for every cute girl you see, and Elle's like, that's not true, or else he'd be in love with me. Ding.
Ding.
And Judo says something like, no, I wouldn't want to start a fight with Beecha.
Mm-hmm. It's just cute. I like it.
Yeah. But while they're talking about that, the guards catch up to them and start throwing spears at them again. These guys are like stormtroopers with how accurate they are.
Honestly, like all they know how to hit is like everything around them. That's how it be,
Yeah. But some guys in a cart show up and start shooting the soldiers with slingshots.
Mm-hmm.
It's Rosara and her crew.
And fucking Mondo's here.
And only now that Rosara says, like, no, we're sisters, does Judo understand that they're twins?
Yeah, which is like, I mean, the only difference, as far as I can tell, I think they have different colored outfits and different colored, like, eyeshadow and lipstick. They have, like, similar haircuts. They look, like, they don't look the exact same. You can, like, it's clearly obvious that they're supposed to be twins. But, like, I guess Judo's a dumbass 15-year-old, so he wouldn't know any better. And
one other small detail is that, like, one of them's wearing... They both have these headbands with a moon on them, with a crescent moon. One is facing towards the right, and one is facing towards the left.
Oh, I never noticed that.
I couldn't tell you whose is whose, and I only noticed it when they're standing next.
If it's not one, it's the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. And yeah, Rosara's like, I don't think that Moon Moon's teachings will help anyone who's already waging war. Like, we have this Anne Prim-ass message, but... if everyone's already, like, all in a mobile suit, they're not going to listen to us, so there's not really a point. All that would serve is just to get Moon Moon embroiled, which is, like, there's almost something there. But, like, I feel like it's turned on its head and is so stupid because it's like it's the hidden tribal society saying that, oh, our teachings aren't good to help modern societies because they won't listen to us. It's like, yeah, maybe the opposite should also be true, and we shouldn't be doing this.
What?
Just a thought I've been having.
I don't know. That sounds a little out there.
It's impossible to say either way.
So they pull up to an old subway tunnel, and they walk down underneath the ground, and she's like, yeah, we'll have to walk down the tunnel. But Mondo's like, well, I could fix up this old tram right here.
I like that Mondo's thing is quickly becoming the guy who can like do a BioShock hack and activate electronics.
And I found this one hilarious because all he had to do was flip the power switch.
He had to just like hit a circuit breaker. You telling me none of these Anprim freaks know how to do a circuit breaker?
And Rosara is like, I'm so glad to have someone like you who's so good with machines.
It's like when you go to your grandparents' house and you help them set up their email and they think you're like the IT god.
Right. And then we get my second favorite bit from the episodes. And Mondo's like, yeah, well, it's to help you out, Mr. Sara. And Judo says, or to sell at the Argama.
Yeah.
And
Get
then
his ass.
L says, or to get money by scrapping the Gundam.
Get his ass.
And then Eno says, we don't like you.
He just says
and like,
so good.
They have him say that, like he just kind of slides into frame and he's like, we don't like you, and then slides back out.
You are not welcome here, Mondo. God,
you're no longer our friend.
Teams. You gotta make it right. Oh God, Double Zeta's good again. I changed my mind. We cut over. We see Sarasa's talking with Roll. She's telling him, everyone's fools who don't understand the powerlessness of machines like the Coddle. Like the Coddle exists, which is a derelict mobile worker from the before times, from vampire times. That if you rely on a machine, it will become powerless. It will become derelict, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we just can't rely on machines at all. We have to become Anprims. We love it. And we learn that the Endra has pledged to Moon Moon by now. So Sarasa's like, okay, let's give them the Argama as well, and they can take that over, and everything's gonna be fine.
And we go down to the dungeons underneath the temple, and we see that Rue, Bright, Chara, and Emery are all tied up.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? Right behind the wall, Judo and his group is waiting to save them.
Yeah, they sneak out. They pop their head out behind a banner. They're able to attack the group and take the guards out and untie everyone. And it's just whatever. Sure, it's a Metal Gear Solid 3 sneaking mission. And
as they're untying everybody, Elle jokes with Rue about, oh yeah, well this is the best way to get people indebted to you.
Yeah, she's like, well, I will simply have someone else untie me. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, she's like, I will do it myself. You can tell that she's just very over Elle.
Man, maybe she didn't get caught. She wouldn't have had a problem. I don't know, Rue. Seems like it's your choice. Let's see. We cut over now. This is a cute conversation because Gotten is now talking to Sarasa and Roll. And Sarasa's like, if I become queen of the cosmos, or I think Roll says that if Sarasa becomes queen of the cosmos, we'll give access to a whole colony. And Gotten's like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah, I love that. And then Beach is like, what? He whispers, why are we doing this? And Gotten's like, it's a chance to take the colony without using a single bullet. We have to grovel at their level.
And he is so fucking pumped.
Oh, I love it. He's such a good actor here. It's cute. It's a nice little thing.
Yeah.
Just forget about the time that he sent active military mobile suits inside the colony beforehand.
Yeah. As the protagonist group gets back to the subway tunnel, Rue ties Chara up again. She's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And Rue says that, "Well, now you're the Argama's prisoner."
Mm-hmm.
And
checks out.
Judo sends Bright, Chara, Emery, and Rue off on the subway tram, and he's like, "Me, El Nino, we're gonna go get the Double Zeta." Mm-hmm. And Rosara and Mondo stay behind as well, because Rosara wants Mondo to fix the Coddle. And
curious. I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she explains the same thing to Mondo, saying it's a monument to powerlessness, etc., etc., etc. And then we cut over. We see a little Glemmy Toto. he's in a new ship. I don't know if we got the name of it. But
I don't think that we did.
It's an Axis ship. It's a new one. And he has a new toy because Bawoo, what's this?
Bawoo!
Is the Bawoo. This thing, God, the Bawoo is really, really sick looking. I love every single
it's
double
fantastic.
Zeta Axis suit. The Bawoo, I'll give a little rundown of this. So the shape is very Barzam-esque in that it has very little torso. It's mostly legs and arms, but it's like this really beautiful, like reddish orange color. You have yellow trim on the feet, on the wrists, like the verniers are yellow, tinted like around the edges of it, and like there's a cool yellow crest and like collar almost on it. You get like, black accents, like a lot of the torso is black. There's this really, really sick big ol' kanji on the front left skirt. It says, the archaic kanji, it means dragon and flight. And you pronounce it Bawoo. So it means like flying dragon or dragon flight or something. That's what Bawoo means.
Oh, that is sick.
Bawoo! And of course it has a cool backpack. It, it has these two really big verniers and like, it's a really sick looking mobile suit. I love this thing.
Oh, me too.
It's like the Barzan, but cooler.
I hope that they have made a gunpla of this one as well, because I want it.
I believe there's a Reborn 100 Bawoo.
Ooh.
Because there's a Reborn 100 Bawoo, and there's also a Reborn 100 Hama Hama, so you can get them both. Apparently they're very like hard to keep together, though. I think they're like very like fragile and fall apart pretty easily. Yeah, you take what you can get, but it's still a dope ass mobile suit. I love it. Maybe one day I'll get it. So yeah, Glemmy flies over there. His head's towing. Oh no, I think I skipped ahead. We don't even see the Bawoo yet, but whatever. I'm not gonna fucking bother changing it around. Glemmy is heading towards Moon Moon, and he's gonna get a mobile suit eventually. And then we're at the jungle sneaking through to the Double Zeta. That's right, what happens next.
Yeah, and so the colonists have put like a fence-like scaffolding around the Double Zeta, and
you keep it safe.
Yeah, and they see the main kids see Beecha climbing up like he's going to get in the Double Zeta's cockpit. Some guards stop him and are like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh no, the Prophet asked me to do this."
He's simply allowed to. Because at some point, I think Gotten tells him to like take out the Double Zeta. Either Gotten or Roll or Sarasa does. So he actually is not really lying here. He is just like, well, he was ordered to take out the Double Zeta, but of course he's going to hijack it to sell it because you know how Beecha be.
Oh yeah.
And then Mondo gets in the coddle. There's like this cool little like leg. It's like a lift that goes in the leg that like slides up towards the middle of it. And he's like, yeah, the solar battery's still on, so this thing can still move. It's like full of juice, baby.
And so Eno and L come up the plane. They're going to distract the guards while Judo gets to the cockpit of the Double Zeta. And they start throwing rocks at Beecha while he's climbing. And they're just like, oh, there's attackers.
Uh-oh.
And so Judo, he starts climbing up as well. And one of the guards throws a spear at him. And Judo grabs the spear and like carries it up with him and kind of starts poking at Beecha. He's like, move or I'll actually stab you.
Beecha, I am speaking directly into your ear, man. I will stab you with this trident if you do not get off of this thing. And I think by now...
Spear. Damn it.
Yeah, try the spear. Yeah, same thing. And by now, a big old army has showed up and they're all trying to climb the scaffolding, which of course is like weighing it down. And it all collapses, but Judo's able to get into the cockpit. He like dodges more spears as he's like dangling from the little like flap over the cockpit. But he gets in it. We love it. He's able to activate Double Zeta. I'm very happy about it.
So Gotten orders the Gaza Seas to launch, and Judo is making his way to the Indra to rescue Lena.
Yeah, he like just tears apart the Gazas on the way. He's like not messing around.
Hell no, he's not.
And now Glemmy gets the news of the fight in the moon. Then he heads out in the Bawoo. Rewind if you want to hear me yell about the Bawoo again. We love it.
Mondo is trying to fix up the coddle, but he can't get it to work. So he smacks the controls in frustration. And oh, hey, now it's working. He's a technical genius.
Yeah, because the coddle isn't a mobile suit. It's a mobile worker. Yeah. This thing is really strange looking. I really like it. It's like... You remember the what was the thing that what's his face used? Like the weird like teapot looking guy from earlier in Double Zeta?
Oh, the Gazette?
Yeah, it looks like the Geze kind of. It's like this weird like it's like a tall cylinder head and it has like, you know, big old mono eye, but like it has 4 arms, but each arm is like on a cylinder on its shoulder, so it like rotates around. It's very strange looking, but really, really interesting. I like it a lot.
And even though it is a mobile worker, it still has a big gun, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't know why, but there's like a weird like 360-degree cannon on the top of its head that it can like fire from. I don't know, it's fine.
It looks neat. Like
it looks neat. I like it.
Yeah. And yeah, so everything lights up and it's able to start moving.
Mm-hmm. It's doing its thing. I like it. It doesn't really like it. Kind of just like rolls along the ground almost as if it's on treads or something. It doesn't really like, it's not acrobatic or like posable at all. It's just like a silly looking thing.
So the Gazas have like kind of started fighting Double Zeta down to the ground, and he's like struggling against them, and because he doesn't want to get too crazy because he doesn't want to damage the colony. And then the Coddle shows up and just starts whipping ass.
Yeah, this thing is like taking these things down.
And the crowd sees it, and they're like, "Oh, the Coddle!" And they start bowing to it. Rasara lowers herself down and explains, like, "No, this is nothing more than a machine. I'm trying to show you guys that this is just a machine. It's not, it's nothing more than that."
Yeah, she's trying to like rewrite the sort of teachings of Moon by showing them like, yeah, it's not a thing of powerlessness. It's just a machine that works, and you can use it for whatever you want. And
Sarasa is not having it. She orders them to capture her. But none of the guys do, because they're too in awe.
Yeah, too in awe of the Coddle. And we see, as Mondo's doing this, Judo's still flying to the Endra, and he sees Glemmy, and then, he, fired into the sort of, docking tube that, blew it up and, flies through it. And Glemmy's there in the Bawoo, and, because, the Endra's, gonna blow up soon, I think. It's, heavily damaged, so he has to go inside and save Lena, because, he still is, wants to keep her safe as the bargaining chip. And Judo sees it, and Glemmy's able to just kind of take the Double Zeta down, because the Bawoo is really maneuverable. It's a pretty quick dude. And yeah, he grabs Lena and flies off.
And he says that he'll only give her back in exchange for Rue.
Yeah, and for some reason Judo doesn't get why. He's like, why Rue? It's were you not told?
Nobody tells anybody anything. Duh.
Yeah, duh, they're just stupid kids.
And Mondo easily beats the Gazas that Judo left behind for him. And he gets out of the mobile worker, and Bicha runs up to him and is pissed that Mondo is helping them.
Oh my god, they have a fight.
And he puts him into a headlock and drags him back to the Indra.
Yeah, he's like, why are you helping Judo? And it's just fucking god, you stupid kids. And as they're leaving, they're in the jungle, right? And we see Bright talking to Roll back at the temple, and he's figures out that Roll is the orchestrator of all this. That Roll is the one who made all these teachings into law, and really the only reason he did it was because he wanted to leave the colony and not be forgotten. My man, you could have just left.
He missed the outside world.
God, it's just the fact that this is the reasoning is just so at this point, I just don't care anymore. I just want to leave Moon so badly, It's just whatever. I'll leave you to your devices, you nasty old man.
And then they get back in the Argama and they head out. And as they leave, Judo's like, yeah, it was kind of a nice place. Maybe we can return after I get Lena back. And I'm like, no, please don't. Please don't.
No, don't. Yeah, he's, it's a nice place. You don't have to lie about it, Judo. It's not really nice. And the last part, this last gut punch is just everyone's yeah, we should leave them alone. They're probably happier not knowing about the modern world. I'm just why did you come here in the first place? Why did this have to be part of Double Zeta? I feel like I don't really have anything, substantive to say about Moonum anymore. It's just it feels like it was written with the writers saying they had such good ideas about it, but what they didn't realize is that half the shit they were writing is the reason why you shouldn't try and bring modernity to you shouldn't mess around with indigenous tribes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't make a lot of sense either. The way that they tried to do it, because like I was saying earlier, they've only been living in space for maybe a little over 100 years probably. That's not enough time for like civilization to get lost and completely forget about machines. And like they see these big things like, oh no, these giant robots. What do?
There's
a lot to not like about Moon.
I like Shara. She's fun in these episodes. I like the coddle. I think it's cool that we get to see like, the characters interact in a more casual manner, but like the whole backdrop of Moon is just like, this sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad it's over. That's, those are the episodes we watched. They were certainly episodes of the show.
Sure were.
One way or another. We got a little bit after these episodes though. I got a little something. It's not anything major, because again, I'm very, very busy playing video games and packing to move, but we have a short, let's see, why didn't I lose my page? We have like some pieces of trivia and a small Beyond Toon World. So we got two. So the first thing I will give you is a small Beyond Toon World.
You're going to love this. Trust me. Beyond Toon World!
We're today talking about I wanted to at first look up Chara's voice actress, but she was literally only Chara, and that's it. No one
wow.
else. So that's, whatever. But then I looked up Glemmy, and Glemmy's voice actor does a couple of fun things. So, Tsutomu Kashiwakura, born in March 1966, Sagamihara, Kanagawa, Japan, voice actor, sound director. That's, he's one of those pages where we really don't know a whole lot about him, just that he's been active since the mid-'80s, and I believe he's still active now, so, it's good. He's been a couple of interesting roles. So, of course, Glemmy was, like, one of his first roles. I think Glemmy was his first role, really.
Oh, wow.
In like, a Transformers spin-off series, he was Lightfoot and Rabbit Crater. I don't know who these guys are, but they're certainly Transformers. He was Kijin Shinokawa in Sailor Moon. Don't remember that fool, but again, more minor roles. Interesting, Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf TV show. He was a young Terry Bogard.
Oh, snap.
Are you okay? Terry Bogard's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I really want to save this last one for last because it's such a... there's one role that like made me like yell a lot. But the King of Braves, Gao Gaigar, he was several roles. Kosuke Antoji, Takayasu Suno, and Pinchernon. Pinchernon, I guess is a funny French name. And he was also the character of Super Robot Wars Alpha. And then like from that point, he was basically mostly Glemmy in like Dynasty Warriors and Super Robot Wars games. He was a voice of El Pizo in Mega Man Zero 2. I don't know if you played that one, but like that's just like a very weird. I don't know. It's just I like seeing weird roles like that, like random bit roles. I mean, I guess he's the main bad guy in that game, but whatever. I'm still rambling.
I have not played that. I got the Mega Man Zero and Mega Man ZX collection on the Switch for Christmas, though, so I will be soon.
Hell yes. Those games are fun. They're very difficult, but they're very fun.
Oh, yeah. The only one I've played is Mega Man Zero, and it whipped my ass the entire time.
Yeah, it's a rough start. You get the hang of it the more you play it. And so his two main roles in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven, specifically, he was Sheer Heart Attack, like the little funny Killer Queen killing tank boy that comes out the hand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is just like very, very silly and funny to me. And the main role that like made me freak out in 1997's is 97 in 1998's TV show Yu-Gi-Oh. He was Ryo Bakura.
Oh, snap.
He was Ryo Bakura, and of course Yami Bakura as well. I love it. It's
yeah.
Ryo. We love him. We love Bakura.
Love Bakura.
Funny little guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all. That's really all there is for Glemmy. Not a whole lot, but thank you. I am saluting Tsutomu Kashiwakura for your service. Great work. And the other small bit of trivia I had, Jake, is about the Double Zeta itself. Because when the Double Zeta was first, conceived of, they didn't really know what they wanted to do with it. There was I guess that's like the kind of design process of building a robot like that. It's like, you have to start it somewhere. But as it turns out, there was first of all, it started out having different names. I'm sure Double Zeta was in the running, but they were originally going to call it Gundam Mark III and Omega Gundam and Neo Gundam, among other things, which is like an interesting sort of, it's a Gundam again. They got to bring it back to the OG. And the Double Zeta itself was like made through a design competition with like different mechanical designers. And, some of the people, I don't know what these people have worked on aside from this, but there's Makoto Kobayashi, who was the one who ended up winning the contest and had the main base design for Double Zeta. Hideo Okamoto and Mika Akitaka, namely, because they also helped work on it after the design was finalized. And even after that, the Gundam Mark III and Neo Gundam ended up being real Gundams in, I think, a manga at some point.
Oh, nice.
But I've posted an image in our chat of like some of these like prototypical like beta designs, if you will, of the Double Zeta. And some of these are very strange looking.
I like them a lot. These are cool.
The first one, it has... So a lot of these have the big head crest in the middle. The butthole beam. But this first one has it kind of poking up top, and it has a really wide view, and it looks like some weird like Centurion Knight almost. It has like a pile bunker arm and a big old shield arm on the other. There's one that has gigantic Kingdom Hearts ass feet, a cool big gun on the side. And if you notice, a lot of these also have that kind of like double cannon arm that you see a lot. Like I feel like a lot of them knew about the wing shield arms and the big old cannon attached to it. So like you can sort of see where the designs are converging and going away.
Yeah.
There's one that looks like a victory suit because it's like so small and stout. It's like when mobile suits got to be little again, in late UC.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I really love seeing the like design history of these things. I'll hopefully remember to link this image in the episode description when I put this one up. But like, if not, Google, just go to the Zeta Gundam or the Double Zeta page on the Gundam Wiki, and like at the bottom there's like a little image gallery, and you can see all these sort of beta designs of like what ended up becoming the Double Zeta. And it's just a really cool thing. I like seeing the history behind these things and like what could have been with other mobile suit designs that didn't, get to make it into real ones.
I think of all of these, my favorite might be that second one there. It's kind of like whoever...
The Kingdom Hearts feet one?
Yeah. Whoever drew that one did not use a lot of hard angles, so it's like kind of curvy almost.
Its legs are very curvy. Its arms are a little like curvy and bubbly. It looks like it would transform,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I know it does, but it looks more of a transformer than the other ones, which is neat. I don't know. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, these are all really cool.
I like robots. That's why I did this show. And hey, speaking of this show and maybe some other shows, as we wrap up, Jake, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Mr. Jakey Poo on the Twitter.com. And you can also find me on Hearts Against Balance, a Kingdom Hearts inspired actual play podcast. You can also find me on a podcast, Most Foul, where my wife is reading through Artemis Fowl for the first time, and I am rereading my favorite childhood books.
Hell yes.
Max, where can we find you?
Oh, thanks for asking, Jake. You can find me on twitter.com/MaxyBajillion. I got a couple other shows, including Pod of Greed, which is a show about Yu-Gi-Oh! That is twitter.com/Pod of Greedcast. And Slappers Only, why did I forget it? Slappers Only, which is at Slappers Only Pod on Twitter, or slappersonlypod.com. You can find those shows and many more at noisepace.xyz, which is a podcast network where this show is hosted. Go check them out. There's something for everyone there. Podcasting Forever 2021. And I guess I have one more question for you, Jake.
Yes, Max.
As we bring it to the close, what is your robot of the week?
My robot of the week is Marvin, the depressed android.
Marvin, the depressed android? I don't know about this one.
He is from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, he's the funny, like, the ball head guy.
Yeah, he's just like a set... Oh, I guess his official title is Marvin, the paranoid android.
Okay.
But he's just a very sad, mopey guy, and he is the best. He's my favorite, and even as a kid when I was watching the American movie, he was my favorite as well.
He looks silly. He looks like Gurr from Invader Zim a little bit.
He's kind of goofy looking.
I like his sad little eyes and like the sort of like crease, like the little like line going between his eyes. It looks like a furrowed brow. It looks all sad. Aw, poor guy.
And he's just kind of got like a slumpy body, like he's like just slouching over the whole time.
Aw, poor Marvin. Someone go cheer Marvin up. Let him play, coach. Well, sorry, Marvin. I hope you feel better soon. I guess that'll do it for this week. Thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully next week will be not as bad. Hopefully after Moon things get a little bit better. I've received reports that it does get better, so I'm glad to hear that.
I am excited.
Yeah, well, I'm yawning right now. It's great. Oh, excuse me. To bring this to the close, Jake, as we always say in the words of Marvin the Paranoid Android, war is bad.
Wow, cool robot.
Wow. Good night, folks.
Toodles doodles.
Bye, Moon forever. Go to hell.
Woo!